College Board of Trustee meeting on Thursday, February 27th, 2025. Call the meeting to order and I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
I'll second.
In favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, same sign. Lisa, do we have any citizens' comments?
No, we have no comment.
All right. Now, the highlight of our night is to have some introductions of new employees. So, Dr.
All right,
Ray?
Keith, you're starting us off here.
My folks are here and one will be in later making a grand entrance. So when we're done, we'll come back. So Jack, why don't you stand up? And I actually, his real name was Jackie, but he goes by Jack. So we'll call him Jack. Jack. So all these guys have been with us actually more than their start date. Because they came to us through IMCO, they got a chance to kick our tires and see if they really liked being here or not. And believe it or not, they thought we were pretty good. So and the great part is then we can bring them on full time. They know what they're getting into and they're not wondering, oh gosh, is this my, so that's, they've known us. But Jack's from Marshall. He's got 3 kids. Boy, 2 girls, right? 11-year-old boy, 5-year-old girl, 4-year-old girl. So he has nothing to do after work at all. Not particularly those girls. By the way, I had 2 girls. So yeah. Huh? 15 and 14. You've done a number of things. I know in fact you've done some structural things, but so he came here and he's more smooth. He really likes it here. Very good. So custodian.
Yep.
What buildings, have any particular buildings you work in?
I just got assigned all of fielding, but I do CTC and fielding. I work with the guy out of CTC as well.
Oh,
To the team.
all right.
Thank you.
Jack. Eric. Eric is also a custodian. He also has been with us since December working. He's actually in this building. I don't know if you've seen him running around Duncan Base. I have at night when I'm leaving, but Eric works in here. You're from Tipton? Originally from Tipton, yeah, but you've been in Cellular close to 30 years or so. I'm trying to read my notes here that I did on there. You work for the city of Sedalia, right?
Parks and Recreation, yeah, for almost 20 years.
So he's got a good experience for us. He also has 3 kids, all boys. A couple of them grown, and one not quite grown, but he's had a full household and working on the last one. So anyway, so I know you're here. What other buildings?
I'm mainly with the dorms.
Okay.
But I'm
Oh, you drew the door.
did all the whole campus, checking restrooms in the afternoon.
I think we owe you a special test. Anyway, it was great. You're glad to have you here. Thanks.
Glad to be here.
And there's one more, and I was drawing it out, but D hasn't made it. So we have one more coming later.
All right. Next, Cunningham.
I'd like to introduce Renita Demalade. She's been teaching math with us since January. Before that, she was an adjunct at our Clinton campus. Husband just retired after 23 years in the military, so they have traveled all over the country. She's taught everywhere. He's told me she has a master's in math, master's in ed tech. They bought their dream home in the big city of Deepwater, Missouri.
Started, but.
He loves to quilt and play the piano, so we're glad to have her.
Keith, go back.
Go back. We haven't done back. This is D. D also has been here for a few months, just like the others. He is considered what buildings do you take care of?
Later.
Later?
Yep.
Okay, good. Looking through here, he's originally from Lake of the Ozarks. Living in Boonville now. He and his son also run a lawn care maintenance business. So if you're in Boonville or know someone that might need some help, I think we got someone here that can help you out there while he's doing this. You have one son, right? So he learned. The other 2, yeah, full house. So glad you're here. We welcome you. Thanks for showing up. Anything you want to say hi to everybody?
Welcome to our team. Murders?
Misty's here.
Okay, Misty.
I'd like to introduce you to Madison. She is our newest rock star for our EDT program. We are so thrilled to have her. She's coming from Windsor. And she's coming to us from industry. She worked up around the St. Louis area. And we're just thrilled. She hit the ground running, started looking at how we can streamline the programs and make them better and really build into more of what industry needs us to be.
Oh,
My mom, Deborah Dixon with CMU.
Listen, grew up around here and she's a State Park Community College graduate. Hey.
To be
Welcome. And Dr. Whitehead. Dr. Murders. Oh.
April Stevenson.
All right, that's the introductions. Did we get everybody?
Yeah.
Thank you all for coming. You're welcome to stick around if you'd like.
cheers. Grab them.
Sonia's more free to whatever. Yeah. I am.
All right, next on the agenda is the approval of the January 23rd, 2025 board meeting minutes as published. I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye. Same sign. Motion passes. All right, warrant for January 2025, Keith.
Like your approval of the following disbursements for the month of January 2025, the college dispersed in total $6 million, $6,134,111. Of that, you see 1624, about 2/6 of that was for various construction projects between the CAT building and the residence hall. The others as shown here.
Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
favor say aye. Pose same sign. Motion passes. All right, another highlight would be our student government and student clubs report.
Addison Miller, our president, we're honored to have the president.
Hi,
Hey, Pres.
hi, I'm Addison. I'm the president of Student Government Association. So we just wrapped up homecoming. We had really awesome student turnout, even with the snow days. Science Club has become active again and has elected officers. And we are planning an SGA activity in cooperation with TRIO in March and then an activity in April as well. We had our homecoming candidates. The winners were Allie Edson and Ross Johnson. And that's pretty much all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Addison, and Allie's classmate of yours, huh?
Yes, she is.
That's it.
So now we're ready for.
Thank you, Allie.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, this month, the members of our Board of Trustees, President Wood, Justin Hobbs, myself, Dr. Murders, were privileged to go to the ACCT National Legislative Summit in Washington, D.C. And the board members will provide some updates at their turn later in the meeting. However, the first time ever at State Fair Community College, we also were privileged to have 2 students join us. And those students are Cameron Belmore and Molly Pritchard. And let me tell you, speaking about rock stars, they stole the show. And we have decided that we don't even need presidents and board of trustees members to go along. We're just sending students next year because they were much more effective and told a much more compelling story than we could ever tell. So I asked Molly and Cameron to share their experiences as part of the institutional report today. So Cameron and Molly.
Well, my name is Cameron Belmore. And honestly, I'm so thankful for the opportunity. It was I just want to thank all of you for electing me as one of the candidates to go. It was once in a lifetime, and I think I gained a lot of skills from it. And just getting to see kind of like the inner workings of everything has really put things into perspective for me and has opened my eyes to some of the real workings and stuff like that and things going on. And I kind of want to share my overall experience with it. And I want to start with the student, the student that we went to. So in this workshop, we learned about the importance of advocating and the importance of advocating specifically to our legislators. And so in this workshop, we learned about different bills that were going on at the moment and how to put those scripts together and and we actually did some role playing where one of the presenters, she was the legislator. And so we were put into different groups with students all over the world who were there. And so we got to meet a lot of new people and hear their stories as well. And one at a time, each group would have representatives go up and they would speak in this role play as if they were speaking to the senator. And it really helped pinpoint those, the main things that we wanted to talk about, that we were going to talk about in our meetings the next day. And so then the next day we went and we talked to the senators and the congressmen. And I feel like we talked about the importance of Pell Grants and why we need to expand those Pell Grants and the importance that they play in community college and increasing that the amount of students who are engaging in community colleges and enrolling, and really just the importance and the impact that it makes and the impact it will have on the future job industry. And yeah, it was overall very eye-opening and super great experience. I feel like I learned a lot of leadership skills and I got to meet a lot of really cool people from all over the place. And we got some business cards. So if we were ever interested, they said to send our resumes in and fill out an application for a possible internship up there. So if, OTA doesn't work out, I guess I can do that.
You could do both.
Yeah, my name's Molly Pritchard. I'd also like to thank everyone in here for the opportunity to go and to have that experience there. It was truly invaluable. The workshop was something that we got to learn, like the specific talking points and what they wanted us to advocate to the legislators, like Pell Grants. Short-term Pell Grants was the big one that we went for with our CDL program here. So with all the legislators, we try to put that in their ear, like, if you approve short-term Pell Grants, we could have more people with a CDL trucking license in that kind of way. Also, I'm an ag student, so I like to put it in perspective for them that if you can get more students through that CDL program or through the program here at State Fair, then we have more people in Missouri to help feed the world. So those are some kind of those issues that we were going for there. We also did a little bit with the TRIO programs and TRIO grants because that funding can be in jeopardy, and we have those programs here and we would really like to see them continue. So we got in with Senator Eric Schmidt, which was a big meeting with everyone from the state of Missouri. We got Jason Smith, Mark Alford, and Bob Onder. Those are some pretty interesting ones. Mark Alford was really happy to hear from us and to be able to hear more from the students. I think he really enjoyed that as well. Jason Smith was really cool. For everyone who doesn't know, he is the chair of the Ways and Means Committee. So he has a very fancy office in the actual Capitol building. So it was really cool to be in there and like see where he gets to do all of his working and stuff. And so he was able to actually provide some more insight with the Pell Grants we were talking about, just because he actually has some control there. So I think that was a really influential meeting that we got to be a part of and put those issues across. We met with Bob Onder, who is a freshman representative, so he was a little more on the shaky side, not quite sure what was going on, but it was good to be in there and to get our voices heard and compel our issues to him, since he was a state senator and now he's up at the national level. So I think that was also a really impactful meeting.
The thing that I kind of mentioned whenever we were talking to these representatives and senators was, so State Fair is known for many things, and one of them is their healthcare programs. And so one of our largest generations right now is the baby boomers, and they're getting to the age that they need more health support than ever before. And in order to provide adequate support for them, we need more healthcare workers, and community colleges play a very large role in putting those healthcare workers into the workforce and building that bridge between the beginning of college and graduation. So that was one of the big talking points that I mentioned whenever we were speaking with these legislators in their meetings, and the importance just that Pell Grants and all the other funding that is involved in community colleges, how that will influence the future of healthcare and the workers, and how there's always a healthcare worker shortage. If you look anywhere, they're always hiring. And so this was kind of one of the really big talking points that I mentioned as well.
So as I said, they were both very eloquent in their pitch to the representative and senators. And so one of the Pell Grant issues is unique to community colleges, and community college students or all other students besides community college, the Pell Grant doesn't cover the full cost of attending college. But at community college, because we're low cost, many students receive a refund, basically, if they get maximum Pell, that is the amount above the tuition and fees, and it can be applied to transportation, housing, childcare. It's a perfectly legal use of the Pell Grant. For those students, their Pell Grant gets a tax. We're the only ones, community college students are the only ones that get taxed on the money they receive for Pell Grants. So Representative Smith's committee, the Ways and Means Committee, is in charge of taxation. So Representative Smith, the Cameron and Molly were sitting right next to him, and he was explaining his role of his committee, and telling stories about meeting with the president and other things related to that. He explained that his committee was responsible for taxation. And he didn't hardly get that out of his mouth when Molly said to him, "Yes, sir, and that's why we are here today. We want to talk to you about the unfair taxation of community college students." And she went right into the spiel, and it made me so proud for both of them. So we want to thank you both for representing State Fair Community College so well. Students like you make us so proud of what we do and really remind us of the State Fair Community College in Oklahoma. So out of recognition of this, I'd like to give you this honor Medal of Excellence for the State Fair Community College president. So,
Thank you.
Cameron, congratulations. Thank you very much. Molly, thank you very much.
So I will interject one last thing. So I actually got a message from Representative Smith shortly after we left there, and he spoke highly of both of you and the way you articulated the needs of the community colleges. And he said if we didn't tell him you were students, he would have never known it. So great job. He was very impressed with that as well.
And just one thing I kind of want to add is going off of what Dr. Bates was just talking about. So a lot of the senators and legislatures, they didn't know that this taxation was happening. And so I just think that goes to show that the importance of advocacy and how people learn new things every day, even people who play large roles in our government, simple things not so simple things such as being taxed on a Pell Grant. Some of that stuff gets past them. And so I just think that to show the importance of advocacy.
We also got to talk to some Pell Grant students while we were there who have dealt with this issue. And I think the fact that we can potentially push something to make their life easier and for more students to be able to utilize Pell Grant to its full extent is something that I'm grateful to be able to be a part of.
Well, thank you for going. And we were in the room with several other presidents from other community colleges in Missouri. They all went, "Oh my gosh." So, thank you so much for representing State Fair Community College and doing it so well.
Thank you for taking us.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome to stick around.
Right in what we talked about.
Another time, maybe.
Yeah.
Students, I mean, we're sitting in a plane and they are working on their phones.
I was sitting on.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God.
In that 45-minute delay at the airport.
Yes. So,
Thank
you
you.
so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
stay tuned.
Have a great night.
Next, we have a institutional report. Speaking of the Commercial Driving Academy, there you had some students advocating for you. Amy Jackson and Brent Hampton. I didn't know if somebody else was here to do an introduction, so I just went into it.
Okay, what's this up? There we go. Is there something else I need to click on?
We'll make the full screen. Presentation. Well, I mean, sure, all right.
Thank you. Okay, all right. Well, thank you for having us. And yes, it's great that that we had students representing the college and advocating too with our Commercial Driving Academy Class A CDL training in Washington, DC. So thank you for that. That's great news. You're not going to hear very much from me. I'm just going to kind of set the stage and then I'm going to hand it over to Brent. He's the director of the Commercial Driving Academy. We operate that program through the Learning Force here at State Fair Community College as a short-term non-credit training program. That program has been going since roll it. Okay. Okay. I'll roll it. There we go.
For this one.
Ready? We've been offering the Commercial Driving Academy since 2004 here at State Fair Community College, and it really started with a partnership with Dittsfield Transfer. In February of 2022, we were part of a federal compliance where we are with the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Association, and our program is federally approved, and it meets all the requirements to be on the National Training Provider Registry, which was a requirement of any training program across the nation. If they were going to train CDL students, they had to be part of this program. We ran our curriculum, our program through it. It was all approved. It was already operating as an approved program already. So it was a very easy process for us to go through. We've been able to make a regional, local, regional and state impact on economic development and training those drivers, getting them into positions that supports our logistics, our manufacturers, our economy. We've trained over 550 students since the inception of the program. And recently, I'm going to talk just real quickly about a couple grant opportunities that has allowed us to expand our program. The first program is the ARPA Workforce Training Grant, which we were awarded just shy of $1 million for that program. It allowed us to add 2 of our current semi trucks and trailers to our program and a simulator trailer for our mobile simulator. The simulator was actually funded through a MoExcels grant. But the trailer part of it was funded through this grant. A large part of this grant went towards tuition. So we were able to offset the cost of tuition for students in this program. And I believe that was somewhere around 60 students that we provided tuition assistance for. Going the wrong way. The second grant is the EDA Good Jobs Challenge Grant. That was a partnership with our local job centers, and the city of Springfield was actually the lead on that project. It allowed us to add another semi truck that really focused on the expansion of the program in the Boonville and the Lake area, Osage Beach, Eldon area as well. So we've been able to dedicate a large part of that $477,000 to tuition and equipment. And again, really allowing us to expand the outreach of our program. So to dive a little bit more into the impact that we've been able to make over the past few years and the expansion of the program, and along with some insights into some future trends, plans, and the vision for the program, I'm going to ask Brent to come up and speak.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Ward. I'll be brief and quick to try to be mindful of our time slot, so ask questions. As Amy said, we've had some good grant support. The 2 trucks on the left are ARPA trucks. The third one from the left is the EDA truck, and then the fourth one is the Pittsfield, truck, which was donated to us. We do have simulation, which is a great help in starting these students on their shifting, which is quite a task to try to learn to double clutch truck. Probably the only piece of equipment that you double clutch, so they're not familiar with that at all. It takes a while to get through that process. We did retrofit the truck so we can haul 4 students, 3 seats in the sleeper, and then 1 in the passenger seat, so we can haul 4 students at a time. The truck is our classroom much of the time learning. Just real briefly, it's a 160-hour course. The theory is conducted online, and they usually do that before they show up for class, which is a big benefit to our efficiency of class rotation, range and road training, 3 to 4 weeks behind the wheel, 8 hours per day, full-size equipment with a manual transmission. And the full-size equipment does include 53-foot trailers. That kind of sets us apart from a lot of training programs in the area. It's real-world training. Course fee, $5,210, and you need a Class A permit. Be 18. 3 students per truck is our normal load. We can do 4, but we normally try to schedule 3, $52.10 per student. The 4-week rotation is most common, although because of calendar and school events, sometimes we do a 3 and a 3.5 week rotation. So every 3.5, 4 weeks, we have a new class coming in, which is different than a lot of other courses because all the students leave at the end of the course. Individual proficiency determines each student's training length. So we have students who, at the end of that 4-week rotation, cannot shift or cannot fully get through their skills. So those students on week 5 come back. The instructor gets another 3 students plus he has the class to finish up. So it becomes a load. It's kind of an efficiency mode that we use, which is key to generation of revenue. It's a task that we're bound to do in the learning force is revenue generation. So that's one of the efficiencies we've been able to do and improve our course over the last 2 years. The truck is considered our break even. This is our growth, 20 and 21. I guess the college funded 2 full-time positions, instructors and the director position in 22. Plus the ARPA and EDA grants. So that's allowed our enrollment to grow significantly in 23 and 24. It is a competitive marketplace. There are 7 CDL training facilities within our recruiting area. That does not count any other community college. Those are just private training facilities. So, we have a pretty high price point. We want to offer a program quality, which includes instruction, equipment, and facilities to draw students. Competitive marketplace. Our future needs. An assessment here, we'd like to highlight a skills training pad. Asphalt or concrete, estimated cost to be about $1.5 million. 750 feet by 200 feet dimension. We are now using an area off campus, which has been appropriately gifted to us for use. Great facility. It's large enough that we can actually paint out 2 of our skills ranges. So one instructor can actually supervise 2 trucks or 2 students operating on 2 different skill ranges at one time. The other instructor may be taking a student to do his CDL test, which requires 2 to 3 hours out of his day for that one student. So part of the efficiency in our rotation of classes, which is implementing our revenue generation, is being able to have an area that's large enough to have our skills range and let the instructors work efficiently. Multiple trucks for instructor, the efficiency of class rotations. Add locations. We've done classes in Boonville and Camdenton, so we're always looking for demand in out areas to grow, and we've seen some of that. And an automatic transmission truck might be a consideration for future needs. And the third area I'd like to highlight is new technologies, autonomous trucks. So this is the skills pattern, size and dimension, configuration, 260 feet by 60 feet wide. So like I said, we have 2 of these on the area that we're using, and they can use those simultaneously. But we also need area that they can do maneuvers such as their snake run or twisted bone. They do these forward and backward. And that's why we need something like 750 feet to be able to do these maneuvers with those trucks and trailers. And additionally, we need some place where we can practice shifting before we get on public roads. So this is a figure 8 where they shift up, shift down, and try to get that shifting pattern proficient before we get on the open road. Automatic truck consideration, 95% of over-the-road fleets use automatic trucks. 10 to 15% of students nationwide will request an automatic. Testing is required in a manual. They have to double clutch, as I mentioned. That's pairing road speed, engine speed, and gear selection. So that is a difficult process. Our simulator is a great asset, but for some people, it's still quite an achievement to be able to double clutch a truck. Automatic transmission has been donated, automatic transmission truck has been donated in the past by Ditchfield. We've been very fortunate to have that when we needed it the past year and a half, but that will no longer be consistently available. So that's why we're kind of highlighting something they might want to consider. And it is a recommendation. And another reason is current used truck pricing is low from the great freight recession. The last 2 years have been tough in the freight industry. They had the big high in the COVID years and then the downswing, as the pendulum always does in the industry. So they have been tough as far as income, and the demand for those trucks are low. So right now we can buy the same kind of truck we did in 22 for $50,000 less. Instead of 150 to 160,000, that truck now is 100,000. So this may not be the budget environment for us to consider it, but that's the current budget consideration as far as the market. And the third thing we'd like to highlight is autonomous trucking is closer than you think, with favorable regulations already in place. What are autonomous trucks? Autonomous trucks are vehicles outfitted with software and hardware to enable them to self-drive. Autonomous trucks offer the opportunity to improve road safety, urban emissions, and efficiency. The certificate program will teach truck drivers how to interact with autonomous vehicles. The autonomous industry is creating new jobs such as test drivers to help to train the autonomous system, experts to monitor autonomous vehicles remotely from a command center, and drivers to operate the autonomous vehicle when self-driving is not suitable. So this is a Kodiak self-driving vehicle. This is an Aurora self-driving vehicle. And these are developments in the last 3 months. Kodiak Aerobics now has that truck operating in the frac sand fields in West Texas, doing autonomous trucking on private road systems. So that's their initial inroad into fully autonomous on a public road. They're doing a private road venture in sand frac fields, trying to work out the bugs, as you would say. And the other truck was an Aurora truck, and they confirmed that their launch will be in April to put their truck on the road. So this industry is moving forward in several areas. There is a commercial truck driver certificate program at Pima Community College, Tucson, Arizona. Wanted to highlight this autonomous vehicle driver and operations specialist certificate prepares driving professionals to operate and work with autonomous trucks. The certificate program requires drivers to have a Class A. And the coursework that goes with that would include industrial safety, electrical systems, introduction to autonomous vehicles, computer hardware components, because you have to understand the components of a computer. You're going to work on these trucks, and then transportation and traffic management. So thank you for your time. If you have any questions, Amy and I will be glad to answer.
We know Mark Alford wants to come back. Well, let's just say while we were there, he remembers, he shared.
His time on the simulator.
He said, I want to do a better job next time.
He's welcome to come anytime.
That's what we told him, he'd come. So, yeah, he had to share how he wrecked it, you
In
know.
addition, Senator Gregory, when we visited him, he also said he wanted to come drive the simulator. So
Yes. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
sounds like a grant opportunity.
That's true. So next we have the cat building name. Looks like that. Mary?
I'm excited to come forward to be the standard of what we need to bring forward to the policy in regards to this. So this regards to policy and regulation 7310. We have known the CAT facility as abbreviated. Center for Advanced Agriculture and Transportation is a very long name for a building. So all along, we've always thought we would reduce the name. But then we come forward with a donor that has the name of Ellenbrock and stick that in front of it. We really have a long name. So I am proud to say that we have a local donor, Karen and Steve Ellenbrock here in town. Steve is our current foundation president and has worked and retired from Dow Chemical and purchased lots of farmland around here. So the agriculture was a avenue that I thought he would find of interest to us, and he has graciously accepted the offer to name the building after them. So we would like to propose, based on the regulation, I'm bringing forward that the name would change from the Center for Advanced Agriculture to Ellenbrock Agriculture and Mechanics. So go through your own policy and how you do this and make the motion. That's great to present this. So thank you very much to Steve and Karen. And I hope if there's questions about it, of how we came up. We did present this to the leadership team. We had a lot of discussion about it. So we'll know it as in our facility as Ellenbrock. We will abbreviate it like we always do in regards to our processes.
So Ellenbrock Agriculture and Mechanics will be on the building, do you
It's on the outside of the building, and then when you go inside the building, in the lobby space, it'll say their last name of Ellenbrock and A&M. Questions?
I would entertain a motion to approve the naming of the building after the Ellenbrock family, Ellenbrock Agriculture and Mechanics.
I'll second.
In favor, or is there any questions or any discussion for?
Wish to thank the Ellenbrocks for this leadership support for State Fair Community College.
Yes, very much appreciated.
Largest gift ever. And I'd also like to congratulate Mary and her team and the foundation and the Capital Committee for their great work.
All right, all in favor, say aye. Same sign. Thank you, thank you. Okay, next is the Benton County lease renewal.
Leases that are renewable and renegotiated, but first one is Benton County. You know, we have an office down off in Lincoln in Benton County. That lease is up for renewal. So recommend the Board of Trustees approve the renewal of the lease agreement with Fairfield Express attached herein for office space in Lincoln, Missouri for SFCC's Community Outreach Department. Period of 2 years commencing February 1 this year and expiring January 31, 2027, at the rate of $400 per month, and that's inclusive of it. Further recommend that President, Vice President, and Department of Finance and Administration be authorized to sign the agreement with Fairfield Express. Funding is the SFC operating budget.
Wait, I would entertain a motion for the Benton County lease renewal.
A motion to approve the Benton County lease renewal as presented.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any questions or other explanation? In front of us. All right, all in favor, say aye. And same sign. Motion passes. Thank you, Keith.
Next one has a little more, maybe a little more discussion or an explanation with it. We have a current lease with, Stonecrest Lake Ozark. We have 3 years on it. It, expires in November 30th of 2028 right now. No, 27 right now. However, we are looking at moving the nursing program from Eldon into that space. To do so is going to take a fairly significant amount of renovation there. Such that I didn't feel comfortable doing that type of renovation if in 2.5 years we could be told to leave the facility and have that investment not pay off. So instead of that, we went back to the landlords and asked them for a 10-year lease with two options at our discretion. We went through, there was a bit of a negotiation period. We have reached an agreement on the terms of that space. You'll see it in your here. I think the rates they gave us are very good where we are now. We also got it where it goes up 4% every 2 years, or really 2% a year is we limit. So for the next 10 years, we don't get any more than a 2% increase in the rate in any given year. We have full 10 years in there. And then the 2 5-year options we have with that are at our discretion. We choose to keep going with that. The only real thing that we had different is there's an air conditioning system in there that is getting old. They asked that knowing it will probably have to be replaced during the term of our time there, that we split the cost of that. That was, we felt fine. We've also taken an additional, they had some more space come open in the mall adjacent where we are. It is additional 629 feet. We with consultation with Dr. Murders and Tabitha and Roche, we elected to take that space, knowing that we may want some expansion in there. So what this gives us now is a place that we know we can have for 10 years. There is no out clause for them or us. It is 10 years. With that, we can then invest the funds we need into the nursing program and know that we'll have time to get the payback from that with that in there. So that's kind of the long and short of it. If you have any questions, Dr. Murders, Dr. Brosh, do you want to say anything about it?
No, I just think it's gonna offer us opportunity to do more synergistic type operations at the lake, bringing students to a single campus location, as well as to utilize our student services, student support to support all our students and advertise and in a way that that we are a campus, a single campus versus the multiple sites. And so we're excited about bringing more and more students to it and ideally grow from that. So this is more than, even though it's the start of it is moving nursing programs there, it's ideally an opportunity to even grow more as you've asked us to.
And there's a bit of offset since we're no longer being Eldon and paying not only the rent down there, but the driving back and forth and other things, and also a little more central location for a nursing program at Lake Ozarks than Eldon at the high school. This gives it a true identity as a true college program. So with that, it's recommended the Board of Trustees accept the negotiated proposal from corporate grouping of St. Charles, Missouri. How can you see that? St. Charles, Missouri. See what's left over. Release space in the Stonecrest Mall in Osage Beach as detailed in the company proposal. The proposal adds an additional 1,629 square feet to the current lease. This lease is a 10-year lease. The actual lease date doesn't commence till July 1, 2025, and ending June 30th, 2035. It also includes 2 renewal options of 5 years each at the discretion of State Fair Community College. So it's recommended that the Vice President for Finance Administration be authorized and directed to sign the agreement with the corporate entity and perform those actions necessary to carry out the terms of the agreement. Funding is the SFC annual operating budgets.
I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
We hear second.
Second.
Right.
We have a couple of bids. One of them is actually under the limit of you needing to have your approval, but I want to put it on here because they're two kind of, they're bids that go together. You know, you approved, a few months ago, another Department of Natural Resources grant, for our facilities group, likely. They have chosen that part of that grant was to buy a truck and trailer to haul recyclable materials, but we could do other things with it. But so they've gone out and got bids for those, done that. I'll get to the motion, but so we're buying and it includes cargo trailer. With that price of that is 13,875, of which the grant will pay for 10,280, and then we'll pay for $3,055. And then they did they went out to bid for a 1-ton 4-wheel drive truck with a tow package. WK Group came back with the best offer there. They gave us a very well outfitted truck. Others, when outfitted similarly, were not even close to the price they were able to give us. Brand new truck, which I'm not sure if facilities are going to know what to do with a brand new truck. It's been a few years for them. But it's this 2025 Silverado 3500. It's outfitted with gooseneck. It's got a plow, it's got a snow plow, and it's got a variety of things on it as well. That the grant will pay for 39,950 of it, and then the operating budget will pay for the remaining 13,612 on that. So we got multiple bids for each of them. So I'm very pleased with what we got. Also, that will help us. Both of these, the truck and the trailer are available now. Some of the other trucks, trailers we were having to pay on. We pay right now probably $2,500 a month for an enterprise truck to do what this will do. So that will actually go out of our budget as soon as we get this truck and trailer. So time. So go through the reading. So I'm not going to read this as so as you know that here that these are a one bid. If anyone would like to take out any one of these and talk about it, you may separately. This was the bid was the lowest, awarded to the lowest, most responsible bidder. So with your one motion to vote this, it would take both of these. It's further recommended for each of these approved bids that the Vice President for Finance Administration be authorized and direct to sign any and all agreements with this. And then funding as indicated. So on your acceptance of these bids here.
Right, any particular one that you need to have pulled out?
Yeah.
The motion then,
I'll entertain a motion as presented for both bids to be approved.
second. Any questions from Keith? All in favor, say aye. On the same sign. Motion passes. All right, proposed changes to policy 0410 about trustee meeting.
This year, the board approved a change to our policy and regulations in firearms. And so after that change was made, Dr. Whitehead did a analysis of all of our policies and regulations to make sure that other policies and regulations that referenced firearms and weapons were consistent with the new policy. And she found this policy that we made a slight revision to. So you notice on the second page of policy, we simply took out some language that would be in contradiction of that previous policy and added a reference to policy 1332, the new policy. So if we ever change that weapons policy, this will automatically follow that policy. So that's our recommendation.
To approve the proposed changes to policy 0410.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Any questions for Dr. Bates or? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, same sign. Motion passes. All right, President's report.
All right. Upcoming events in the upcoming events calendar, I don't have much to highlight. We do have spring break coming up, March 17th. It's hard to believe we have 10 weeks left till the end of the semester until graduation. So time flies when you're having fun, I guess. And I guess we've had a really fun year because time is flying. There is a instrumental concert on March 11th. And I note that there's a special guest speaker at this concert doing reading some material on President John F. Kennedy and accompanying this concert. That happens to be me. So it's a really good presentation that the band has put together. I was honored to be able to join them with that. So I invite you all to attend that. And the SFCC Gala is March 29th. And so invitations are out or will be out soon. And we would love to have each of the members of the board there. And I know Richard's highlight is the dessert dash. He will dash anywhere for dessert. We know that. And so we'd love for you to join us. The only problem is I can't see the table. You may want to have another runner assigned this year, Richard, but the benefit of the dash is the athletic department, the new outdoor complex. So at the gala, we will be making some formal announcements about closing of the CAT campaign and starting a new campaign for the outdoor athletic facilities. So speaking of that, you may have noticed that we have some activity on the western edge of campus, and we have hired a firm to remove some trees from the area where we plan to build the fields. And that is because in this area, there are some bats that travel into the area in the summer and live here in the summer. They're a threatened species. And so we have limitations on our ability to remove trees in the spring, summer, and early fall. So we knew there's a chance that we move quickly with the outdoor athletic field. We don't want to be held up by some bats. So we made the decision to go ahead and get those trees removed now. And so once we get the go ahead on that outdoor plate project, we can move forward. So it's kind of exciting to see, and that really opens up the space. I drove out and watched the excavation last night, and so it's exciting to imagine new baseball, softball, soccer, and track complementing our western side of the campus. This week was the census, the certify our enrollment, and I'd like to share with you.
Which one do you want?
This is the one I want to start. All right. So this, let's see. Our census enrollment, our head count is 3,793, and our credit hours are 35,076. All of this information, by the way, is in the board book. So you can refer to that later with some additional breakdown on that. But I thought I'd share with you, we will have a more in-depth analysis of this, and we'll share with you later in the semester. But I wanted to share some just overall trends. So the chart that I have on the board is a chart that shows the census headcount 10-year trend for spring. So you see we are on the upward swing, but we're not back to the peak years of 2018, 2016. So we're heading in the right direction, but we're not quite there yet. And that's the credit hour trend for that. So then I was thinking, well, is everybody else up? You know, we're up significantly in the fall. We were the fastest growing community college in the state. How are we compared to others? So we went to we participated in a project with the National Benchmarking Project where we share enrollment and we can compare with different groups. And so this is a chart This chart shows the headcount enrollment percentage change. So we're up 10%, and we're the blue line in this chart. The national average is the black line, and a cohort group called the Mid-Air Spring cohort is the green. This cohort is community colleges in Missouri, Iowa, Kansas, and a few in Arkansas, Doc. And so you can see State Fair Community College 10% enrollment increase is significantly higher than the average of both those other cohort groups. The other chart is, this is other Missouri, all the Missouri Community College. No, not all community colleges reported this semester, but we have agreement with the presidents that everyone will be reporting on this in the future. But of those reported, you can see the Missouri trend here in the green. And so again, we're higher than both Missouri and the national cohort in student credit hours. These numbers are reported at different intervals in the enrollment cycle. So it's things that we watch so we can see, are we trending faster or slower than other cohorts? That's how we use this data. So the conclusion is, it looks like we're up higher than others. And so I credit that to people here in this room and the rest of the great faculty and staff at State Fair Community College worked real hard to make this happen. So appreciate their work. And so last thing I want to mention is the ACCT Leadership Congress is October 22nd through the 25th. And it is in New Orleans, I believe. And they have opened up registration for that. So even though it seems like a long time away, we need to be making some decisions about who's going to attend that from State Fair, because the hotels do fill up, and so we want to get our reservations made probably in March. So if you are interested, if you could let Lisa know, she will send a prompt to remind you about that. So check your calendars, look ahead, and let us know if you're planning on. And that's my report. Any questions about census or?
Good information there, Dr. Bates.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thumbs up, that's always good.
Yes.
Double digits.
Yeah. All right. Looks like we're ready for the financial report.
So this will be from February through January. I mean, and effectively, most of the spring is in here. Really, looking at this, if you'll see that our total general fund revenues are at 29.2 versus 26.9 last year, so 2 million ahead of the prior year, which is pretty significant growth right here. Everything is pretty much in line with where I would expect it to be. We will probably short a little bit, about 100,000 or so of our property tax estimate based upon the valuations we got that we were not. But other than that, there's plenty of other things that more than make up for that. The part I'm actually very, very pleased with is on the expenses side. We are up, I know if you look at from 23 to 24, our expenses were up almost $2 million year over year. 22 to 23, they were up, 51.3, and this year, year over year from 18.7, 18.7 last year, 19.8 this year. So about $1 million. So we're keeping that growth down, and we're pretty much where we need to be. So again, I feel like we have a very, very strong financial report. I don't see anything point in time I would expect, unless we have something dramatic change, we would end up with a very good year with that. We'll come back to that here, in a couple of times in the agenda, but long way of saying that I feel very good about where we are. Our revenues are very strong, fees are very strong, and we are doing while nearly increased revenue does create a little more expense, because you got to do, we're controlling our expenses very, very well. So, that's that. And then we do have a few, I can find, get my few board reporting expenses, just, it looks like the drafting department or engineering or whatever, has some drafting stools that were bought. We printed the marathon, but that will be reimbursed by the foundation, and then we have various miscellaneous computer items. So I think just kind of for your information, those that are between 10 and 25,000. So that's the financial report. Any questions, any thoughts, anything you want to ask? Okay, I'm going to roll into the next one. I shared with you during our work session my projection for the year end, which shows us probably coming in our general revenues probably 1.5 million more in bottom line revenues or expenses than we expect. Obviously, some of that I want to make sure we save for particular use if we ever need it, and plus there could be some things we don't know, but I've tried to be somewhat conservative in revenues, somewhat less conservative expenditures, and feel that they will be there. With that in mind, item 18 is the request for additional budget authority for this year. During our executive leadership team meetings, we've looked at the requests for expenses for next year, FY26 budget. In that budget, we identified some items, approximately 325,000 worth, that we could purchase this year with the room in this budget that would help our budget for next year and be able to fit within some of the things we see and the pressures on that for the coming year. So, and I feel very, and I recommend this. I felt very comfortable that we will more than exceed that 325 that we're asking. So, with that, due to the positive budget variance to date and the forecast for the remainder of FY25, it's recommended the Board of Trustees approve an FY 2025 budget authority increase of not to exceed $325,000 to be used for one-time, non-recurring athletic, academic, institutional, and/or facilities maintenance purchases as approved by the President and Vice President of Finance and Administration.
I'd just like to add that all of this discussion was based on program review, and input comes assessment throughout the institution. So we have some plans based on that program review of ways to enhance the college, that additional budget authority.
Entertain a motion to approve the FY 2025 increased budget authority.
So moved.
I hear a second.
Okay.
Any questions?
It makes sense. Good. Use surplus from this year meet needs that the college has. And, just go ahead and do it. It's a wise use of the money.
And the unknown for. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thanks. Motion passes. All right, board discussion. Several items listed. First one was legislator visited their city. So it kind of been alluded to by Dr. Bates that we were able to go Monday to Jeff City. Thought it was a very, very productive day. State Fair, you just have to know, the legislators, they know that great things are happening at State Fair Community College, but to be able to sit down and visit with them about where we are, and also say to them, we're here for them as well. So we got to see Senator Sandy Crawford, Senator Curtis Gregory, Senator Mike Barnscooter, Senator Rusty Black. That happened to be just he wasn't one that was on our list, but he sees us in the hallway and he said, come on in. So you do that, and got an opportunity to visit with him because he, of course, cares very much about State Fair Community College, as he is at the Missouri State Fair very often. We visited with Representative Roger Reedy, Representative Brad Pollitt, Representative Rudy Veet, and Representative Jeff Vernetti. Am I saying that correct? Vernetti. He's new, but it was, he was just very open. His wife is a teacher or is in the school district, and so very much interested in what's going on with community colleges. And then Representative Jeff Knight, Representative Dave Griffith. We were then honored to be able to then find out that State Fair Ag Policy class was also in Jeff City. So Dr. Bates found out where they were so we could go and get to say hi to them and, encourage them in what they're doing. They're having a fabulous day, but just knowing that, they're able to come and be a part of, those legislative visits. And they said they had a great day. And then we also saw Governor Keyhole in the hallway. So we really, talk any kind of shop talk, but just the opportunity to say hi. And he wasn't even in his suit coat. I don't know what he was doing, but he set out, what was he doing? Putting pieces of the puzzle together or something. So just a good visit to be able to talk about, most of the time we talked about the transfer bill for students. That was kind of the main conversation. Anything you want to add, Dr. Bates?
President Wood did receive a hug from the governor.
Yeah, but you got one from Dave Griffith, which is kind of unusual. I got one from everybody, but Dave Griffith.
We were greeted warmly and enthusiastically, and there was a lot of excitement about State Fair Community College. People we met with. It was a positive meeting. Those the hard work that we've done to build relationships, I think, see evidence of that in these meetings.
And always the invitation to come and see us anytime.
Thank you, Jolene, for setting up those.
Yeah, thank you.
Although they were back to back, we didn't get lunch.
Again, so we're in DC, allowed on the hill to get a drink even, to have lunch. This happens the same. And this was even 6 o'clock when he dropped me off in the car and we hadn't had lunch. So drives a hard bargain. Okay, next it talks about strategic plan update.
So we do have, we are well into our strategic plan. We're in the futuring stage of our strategic plan. Friday at 2:30 for the next phase of that futuring. Some of you have been participating in that. So we thought we'd give an opportunity to share if anybody had any thoughts or about their committee, their groups that are working on the futuring exercise, or any thoughts on it to update the others what's going on.
One day was pretty bleak.
I'm anxious to see what people come up with in there, because we looked backwards and what if we did nothing, and that was depressing. So we get to look at, and there are, nothing off the table. We don't have to worry about budget. We don't have to worry about Dr. Bates saying no, that sort of thing. And so I'm excited to see where those presentations go and where we might want to end up if there were absolutely no restrictions. Anybody else?
I just was really impressed with this, with our people, their creativity. And the things that they were thinking about, and because really you do just kind of turn everything on its head and spin it. And so that was very impressive to me. Really thinking about the students.
Thank you, Darcy, for, your leadership in that. So we look forward to many great things. Anybody else on strategic plan? Next is campus master plan. So that is taking place. Jeff, you want to hear kind of where we're at?
Met last week again, and I guess my expectation was that they would come and tell us what to do, but instead they chose to listen. They picked our brains, and from that we'll formulate the next steps. So they're very much interested specifically in our job, not just a general result.
I agree. Yeah, 2 hours, we're there, asking questions to get us to think and to share. So we were able to do that. So I think I've got this right, that we have a steering committee, which is of Keith, Mary, Brad, Brent, Jeff, and myself. Is that what we're called? We're the steering committee. And then there'll be a planning committee, which is about 20 to 30. So that'll be faculty, staff, board will be involved in kind of the planning. And then the ad hoc would be with the community partners and students. So, you know, we're definitely interested in knowing what does the community think? What do our students and what does our staff to help us come up with space? I think that was the other thing they talked about, you know, because we have strategic planning going on, we have campus master plan, you know, are we doing the same thing? No, ours is more about the space, if that helps to kind of, but it's good to have them both, I think, happening at the same time because, you know, we can build on one each of those committees. So they have, yeah, they kind of laid out, you know, kind of what their timeline was about where we should, you know, what we should be doing, but definitely they ask a lot of questions that maybe we hadn't even thought of, so making us think. All right, and then president's evaluation, it's time to do Dr. Bates's evaluation. So Scott has been working on getting the 360 out to those particular ones that have been identified by the policy about, you know, who is to get the 360 evaluation for him. For us, if I'm correct in saying this, so Scott is working on getting that rolling. So we're looking at then our timeline about when we're going to take that data and then we're going to be able to get together and talk about that and you know, goals, see how things were for the last year as well as look forward to the next. So we did kind of have a discussion about the time frame. So, I mean, things are happening, Scott says, on his end. But we also know that the month of March is going to go very fast. So in thinking maybe April, do you want to do it in a meeting that occurs where we do this prior to a board meeting on a special evening or a Saturday? Any thoughts?
We can do it prior to or after a board meeting.
True.
You know, after executive session or special day.
In the board meeting in
So we're thinking at the April, prior to or after. Or
Saturday would be next time possible for me.
all right. So do we want to look at our calendars for April 24th? And that's our April board meeting. We plan to do that afterwards. Well, look at that. We'll also connect with Tim and so just kind of put that tentatively then on your calendars. Hopefully by that time, Scott will have all the data together and we'll work on getting that compiled.
You want to get some volunteers to do that?
Yeah, so kind of what we did last year, I believe that, I don't know if you just took our ideas, Richard, or if you took the data that we got from the 360s and kind of combined it.
I think we reviewed the information we had, talked about it, and then I summarized the discussion we had and brought it forward.
Okay.
At the next meeting.
So do I have any volunteers that want to take that data and summarize it? Well,
I can.
think about it.
We'll want your tell.
We understand, Richie. Absolutely, yeah.
So I can work with Scott and we can get that summarized. Do we want that ready for the April meeting or we're going to discuss the April to present in May?
Well, one thing that you could do is discuss it in March.
That's what I was,
Executive session and then have the
Will we have that?
presentation.
is that too quick of a timeline for you to get data?
That should be fine. That should be fine.
Yeah, preliminary discussion in March.
It's the last. Okay. Okay. So my apologies for being the one that just kind of leads it. What do you have? What do you want to share?
I just want to add, coming out of our ACCT meetings, I serve very honored to serve on the board, the members and education committee. Out of that meeting came that April is Community College Month. There's a full toolkit online through ACCT that helps promote it, but this year's tagline is best decision ever. I thought it was a really good tagline. There's a lot of discussion in that meeting, but it's really going to be a student-centered campaign this time around. Prior, it seems to be more about institution. We're going to switch that to students and really allowing students to tell their story, why they decided to go through community college, how it's benefited them. Really emphasizing the importance of it's just not a two-year college. We're providing educational opportunities at a very economical price point to allow them to serve their community through jobs and being able to stay at home with that. So April is Community College Month. There's a full toolbox on the website that allows us to go through that, but I highly encourage students to go through. TikTok's very popular, Snapchat, whatever it may be, tag it and really promote that. I thought a really good idea that came out of our meeting was even telling the story to maybe a local media, so I don't know, Sedalia Democrat or what that may be, but really getting the students to tell their story for the community here. I'll add one. The stat came down, it says that 82% of students that went to community college found it very comfortable and affordable. At a four-year university, that number is only 36% versus 82% to community college. I thought that was a really highlighting stat that came out of the 23 national survey across North America. So kind of a cool little stat there.
Homecoming, I thought was awesome. Thank you, Mary, for your work prior to with the things with retirees and alumni. Those events, you and your crew did a fabulous job. And it looks like we have quite the calendar of things. Get your calendar loaded with all of the events that we can attend. Anything else you can think of? All right, so now we're ready for a date change for the October 24 meeting.
For 25, we have a conflict with the ACT Leadership Conference, and we're recommending that board meeting be moved to Thursday, October 30th. We address all three
At one time.
at one time. In November, the conflict is with Thanksgiving. We're recommending moving it to Thursday, November 20th. Both of those Thursdays maybe avoid conflict with other events. Some of you have things on Tuesdays, so hopefully the Thursday's okay. And in December, the college is closed on the 17th at noon, and our meeting would originally be scheduled on either Christmas Day or Christmas, but we thought we should move it, and we're suggesting Tuesday, December 16th.
Right, so I would entertain a motion. We move for the date changes for the October, November, and December board meetings.
So moved.
And here's a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The same sign. Motion passes. So our next board meeting for general session will be on Thursday, March the 27th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. right here in the boardroom. There will be a work session prior to the meeting to discuss the budget. And we'll keep Keith on his toes.
So at earliest, that'll start at 4:30, but he may not need that amount of time since he's already laid out things for you. So, it could be fine. And dinner will probably be provided as well. So plan on that since there is work session.
Okay. Anything else? The next item on the agenda is request for closed session. After closed session, when we come back out, there is no other item on the agenda, so we will adjourn. So I would entertain a motion to go into closed session for legal actions, cause of action, or litigation pursuant to RSMO section 610.0211. Lease, purchase, or sale of real estate pursuant to RSMO section 610.0212. hiring, firing, disciplining, or promotion of personnel pursuant to RSMO section 610.0213.
So much.
All right, we got the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, call please.
Amy Bushiers,
Yes.
Carr is absent, Justin Hubbs.
Yes.
Richard Parker
Yes.
and Patricia Wood.
Yes. So Dr. Murders, Keith and Scott, are those the ones we'd like to ask you to stay.
Feel free to have some sandwiches.
Thank you all so very much for coming.